Well, my reading for the start of 2025 has not got off to a great start for the number of books that I've gotten through, and there are two books to blame for that, and both of them I'm going to talk about here. Hello, welcome to The Book Thing. My name is Mark. This is my wrap-up for everything I read in February, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what my reading plans are for March. So I think this is going to be pretty brief, because I didn't actually read that many books, and the books that I did read, a lot of them are getting their own videos. So the first and most obvious one of those is the fact that I finally managed to finish Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, the final book in this cycle of the Stormlight Archive. I did a full video review for that. I will put a link to that on screen, but suffice to say, my thoughts on it were, no, it's not as bad as everyone else seems to think it is. It's fine. It was a 3-star book for me. It was too bloody long, and it took a massive bite out of everything that else I was trying to read at the start of this year. So the next books that I'm not going to talk about, because they're going to get their own videos as well, are the Discworld books that I managed to read in February. So I got through 3. I managed to get through Thud, Wintersmith, and Making Money. So Thud was the latest one of the City Watch books. Wintersmith is the latest Tiffany Aiken book, and Making Money is the second Moist von Lipwig book. All of those will get their own video, and you'll be seeing them coming out fairly soon. The next book I'm not going to talk about is the other book, which has taken a massive dent out of my reading time, and that is The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Now, I started reading The Brothers Karamazov along with what was the Ulysses 6. So the 6 booktubers who last year read Ulysses, they are this year reading The Brothers Karamazov. So I thought it was an ideal time for me to pick that one up as well. So I've been enjoying the discussion that's been going on Discord with that. I think some of the main booktubers from the Ulysses 6 from last year are going to be doing a live discussion. So if I have the details of that, I will put that down in the link as well. But right now I'm about halfway through The Brothers Karamazov. I'm in book 8 out of 12 books in it. Book 5, I'm not gonna lie, was quite a struggle to get through, but I powered through, and books 7 and 8 are significantly better. It's an incredible reading experience, and I'm gonna give you my full thoughts on it when I've finally finished, but in the interim, just know that the reason I'm not reading that much at the moment is because I'm trying to plough through The Brothers Karamazov. Last month was the first month since the I'm With the Band book club started that I did not take part in the read-along, and the reason I didn't take part is because the book was There by Tommy Orange, and I actually finished that book last October, and that was my favourite book of 2024, so the rest of them got a real treat. So there was only really 2 books that I managed to read that I can properly talk about and give reviews for now. So the first of those was In Too Deep by Lee Child and Andrew Child, which is the latest in the Jack Reacher series. So this series follows a character called Jack Reacher, who many years ago was a major for the military police for the US Army, and after leaving the army, he basically starts to travel around the US. He doesn't have a house, he doesn't have any possessions apart from the clothes on his back, a folding toothbrush and an expired passport, and he just travels around the country and eventually ends up somewhere where he ends up investigating some sort of crime and beating the living daylights out of some dudes. So In Too Deep begins with Reacher waking up bound to this table and not remembering how he got there. It transpires he was involved in an accident and then got taken back to this house where it seems like there are a group of people who are involved in some form of nefarious scheme, which is kind of par for the course of the stuff that Reacher ends up getting involved in. Reacher books to me are a little bit like your favourite fast food establishment. It's not any good for you. It's probably relatively low in quality, but it's consistently exactly the way you want it every single time that you go there. So I love the Reacher books. This one isn't one of the strongest ones. I don't think they have been as strong since Andrew Child came on board. Just in case you didn't know, Lee Child, I think, is planning on retiring from writing the character of Reacher, and his brother Andrew Child has been writing the last few with him, and I think with the view that Andrew Child is going to be the one who takes over eventually. I don't think they have been quite as strong since Andrew Child came on board, but they're still great fun. You know, big guy goes and beats up bad guys. It's all very cathartic. One of the things I quite like about it is that the villains in the Reacher books, they're just utter bastards. There's no villains who think that they're the hero of their own story. They're just greedy and selfish and awful and evil, and you can't wait for Reacher to shoot them in the head or throw them out of a helicopter, or whichever way he plans to dispatch them in this particular book. So that's always fun to watch. It is very black and white. It's very silly. Objectively quite crap, but I don't care. I kind of love them anyway. So this is a 3-star. I don't think any of the Reacher books ever get up to a 5-star. But that being said, I don't ever think they go down as low as a 2-star either. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a nice little bit of a distraction after I got into the end of Wind and Truth. And the second book that I managed to finish this month that I can talk about is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which is the second in the Red Rising series. So this is probably going to have some spoilers for Red Rising, so if you haven't watched any of the series, you can probably skip past this. So Red Rising is set in a dystopian future where humanity has basically colonized the entirety of the solar system, and society has been broken down into this caste system based on colors, with golds being at the top. You've got things like obsidians, who are the military class. You've got greys, who are the police class, and at the bottom of you got reds, which is basically manual labor and indentured servitude and pretty much slavery. So Darrow was a red from the planet of Mars, whose wife was executed, and he was then given the opportunity to join an uprising called the Sons of Ares, where he would be physically changed to being a gold, so he could infiltrate the gold society with the view to tearing down the whole societal structure. In Red Rising, that was about him going through some of the gold rites of passage that anyone in the gold society has to go through, which is about going through the Institute, which is this basically free-for-all battle royale style arena that they are left in for a period of time until someone comes out on top. It's a bit Hunger Gamesy, but it's a bit more to it than that. It is more to do with the teams who are in there rather than the individuals. Red Rising felt quite insular in that. Golden Sun becomes much more expansive, and it is about essentially the birth of a civil war in the society, which Darrow had a large part in kicking off. Even though it is much wider in scope, it's all still very much from the first person perspective of Darrow. So he is having to think about all of the different allegiances that he has, because he has got allegiances in this gold society, which is the society he had all the animosity towards, but he still has his allegiances to the red, to the Sons of Ares, and there are various different factions in that gold society that are fighting against each other, which he in some cases has initiated. And there are enemies who become his allies, there are allies who become his enemies, and it's a much broader scope than Red Rising was. I enjoyed it an awful lot. For me, it was a 4.5-star read. So I know it's an ongoing series, but it's been broken down into a couple of different trilogies, and the third part to the trilogy I'm reading at the moment is, I believe, called Morning Star, so I'm going to read that one next. I don't know if I'm going to move on to the next parts of the series, but I'll see how we get on after Morning Star. But Golden Sun, 4.5 stars from me. Really, really enjoyed it, and it ends on quite the cliffhanger, so I really want to see what happens next. So for March, my reading plans are fairly limited. I'm going to finish The Brothers Karamazov, which is going to take a wee bit of time because it's a chunky one to get through, and it's quite dense to get through as well. The I'm With the Band book club are reading Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, which I've never read before, so I'm hoping to read that one as well. And the last thing I'm hoping to do, fingers crossed, is I'm hoping to reach the end of Discworld. I'm going to give it that final push and read the last couple of books. So I'm currently reading Unseen Academicals, and after that I've only got I Shall Wear Midnight, Raising Steam, Snuff, and The Shepherd's Crown to get through. So I think there's a good chance that I will get through those in March, which will mean in April, which is my 1 year anniversary on this channel. I can't believe I've been doing this for nearly a year. By the time I get to April, I'll be able to have finished what got me started on this channel in the first place, which was the Discworld series. So that was everything I read in February and my reading plans for March. If you read any of the books that I've mentioned, please let me know what you think of them down below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and take care.